Okay, we get to talk about venir and the passé récent. This is all on page 168 in chapter 5. So the verb venir means to come, and usually it's used just like that. For example, ils viennent au théâtre avec Paul. They're coming to the theater with Paul. So that's very similar to English. We're going to talk about another very common way it's used in just a minute. But first, let's go over the conjugations. So the infinitive is venir. Again, it's that e caduc at the beginning, so it's a nice guttural e, venir. Then as we conjugate it, it turns into je viens, tu viens, il vient, elle vient, on vient. Nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent, elles viennent. So a few things to notice. First, it's another one of those boot verbs. Remember, we've talked about the boot verbs where these four are the same and then these two are different. And it's kind of like you can draw a shoe or a boot around them. In this case, these ones are very different from the infinitive, whereas these two follow the same VEN pattern, and then you just add the ending. So nous and vous are very simple. These ones are a lot more complicated. We've done some IR verbs already, and generally the IR verbs are S, S, T, E, N, T. This one is a little bit different because you do have to rearrange the stem. And the reason for that rearrangement is mostly, again, for pronunciation. As I always say, the French care a lot about how it's pronounced. So they'll switch things around to make it sound better. So S-S-T-E-N-T, but there's another change. For pronunciation purposes, they add an extra N here. Notice in every other one, there's just one N, but here there's two. And because of the two N's, you get this beautiful pronunciation of vienne. So make sure you notice that over here it's vient, and it's a nasal sound. There, you don't actually hear the N, but over here for the plural, third person plural, it's vienne, and you definitely have to say the N in it. So let's go over it again. Venir, je viens, tu viens, il vient, elle vient, on vient. Nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent, elles viennent. Now, the other way that we can use venir is to say that something just happened. So it's not actually putting it into the past tense, but it is implied that it is in the past, if that makes sense. So for example, let's say I showed up to somebody's house and they wanted to give me something to eat, but I had just eaten a huge dinner at a restaurant. I would say, oh non, merci, je viens de manger. I come from eating. So it means I'm full, I just ate. So again, we would usually say, I just ate, or I just read that book, or I just whatever it is. In French, the expression is, je viens de manger. Je viens de lire le livre. Je viens de whatever it is. Je viens de doing something. And it's explained down here, their examples are, je viens de téléphoner à Ali, or il vient de pleuvoir. It just rained, I just phoned Ali. So that's a really helpful thing to be able to use. It's a great expression. So go ahead and work on those exercises for the rest of this part of the chapter.